It's presidential debate night, but we can't talk about it. So we're talking about cancer season and what to expect and answering all your questions with live readings coming up right now.
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You said like something in your end table that you this too.
My God, we're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would always give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine, somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come out here and talk bullshit and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on a culture.
Happy Thursday night, everybody. I'm competing with the presidential debates. Now, I was gonna stream it and comment, but they are banning YouTubers from streaming the debate because they probably want all the views for themselves. So I don't know. So I decided, well, let's do a show anyways. So you guys could be watching two shows as I'm just seeing Daryl say right here, I'm watching two shows. Not Hey Nina, but here he goes. He says, I'm watching two shows. I know a lot of people are doing that. So I guess we'll see who competes. When it gets boring over there, you go over here, over there. When it gets boring over there, you come over here. Anyways, who's in the room here? David Cruz, hello. Jennifer Cruz, hello. Brenda Zwack, welcome. Cap Sun from Wisconsin, hello. Chrissy Rozzi, Erica Emody, what's up? Benjamin Rabel, what's up? Our wonderful mod Nina is in the room. She will give you some sort of help if you need any help getting a reading in. We'll get the information up soon. James Porterfield, welcome. Yes, good vibes. Good vibes all the way. Noel Way, welcome to see you. Sydney Aaron, good to see you. Patty Snow, good to see you. AC, hello. We just keep going down the list here. Blondie 7, good to see you. Eric Ola. Erica Arwine, hello. Good to see you. Welcome aboard. Daryl Blankenship. Stephanie Prr, good to see you. Andrew Williams, hello. And all of you watching, hello. Hopefully this will be more entertaining than debate night. Watching two clowns. You have one clown here. It's all good. Those of you who are new, we'll start with a collective reading, and then I'll get into the topic, cancer season, what to expect. And if you want, $15 for a card pull, $20 for one question, $30 for two questions, and $40 for a live video with me. So the PayPal and Venmo links are in the description. So follow that there, and Nina can help you along the way with that. Tommy Garassi, welcome. And so, yes. And last week I wanted to do something different, and I realized I was just spending too much time on the card pull. So when you do a card pull, it'll be very simple message for you. So a lot of good time you guys don't really have to know what questions to ask, and you just kind of want to get a general read, and that's what they will be. I think I was spending too much time on them before. And for the same thing, one simple question, we'll ask that, and I'll get some details on that as well. But I just was over-encumbering myself with too much information because I want to help. I want to give you guys clarity. And so just so you know, $15, the card pull is a very simple message for you guys, okay? Let's shuffle those cards for the collective reading. And, we're in cancer season. I mean, you guys feeling that heaviness with cancer season? I mean, emotional and, I was heard here from a channeler that, there's been an attack on light workers this week. And a lot of us have been getting headaches and neck pains. And I've had one all week. And so I felt like a little bit of an attack today, actually, from an energy. So light workers, be careful, protect yourselves now more than ever. Zen Fitness, welcome. Iggy, what's up, man? And so, oh, thank you, James. I appreciate that. I mean, I'm a younger man, not an old man, right? So, so light workers, protect yourself right now, because, you know, a lot of guys, if you're feeling the headache, the neck pain, and the achy wakies, please make sure you sustain, you know, your energy, and be mindful of your energy right now, because, you know, Christopher Witecki sent me a wonderful read from another light worker. That's kind of what's going on right now. And so Cancer season, there's gonna be more emotions, and we'll get into that and why, and what's, you know, what to expect with all that, and how you tame those emotions. And yet last week's message was all about kind of being schizophrenic. Remember that? And kind of like having all these different voices. So we'll see what this week's message is. And those of you who don't know, I'm not a tarot reader. I utilize tarot. I'm a psychic medium. I could go without using cards, but I like to utilize them for additional resource of information. And in this case, good for guidance and a collective message. So, but yes. So, and yeah, we'll let you know. And this read will be for the week for sure. So a lot of times these reads are definitely for the week. And so let's, as we know, take time shuffling these things over here. As you can see, I got the crab in the background here. The wonderful crab. The Cancer crab. Because Cancers can be crabby. For sure. Okay. Let's pull some oracles. Okay. And it's interesting. I like this read. It's kind of going in long lines with Cancer season, so we can kind of blend right into the topic, actually, with this read. And we need some like elevator music. While I'm shuffling here. These cards. Okay. Gotcha. Surrender. All right. Trust. All right. Simple. General. Okay. This is for this week in particular, primarily. Okay. You don't want to be, I would say, too loose with your finances this week. You want to be kind of preserving your resources, looking at your resources very keenly. I would say be a little tight. And I don't want to say tight as far as you saying like you're afraid to spend money, but you want to make sure that you're not being impulsively buying right now, because of I think that what this week is going to bring ahead emotionally is the impulse buying, right? The need to satisfy, the need to like a quick fix energy is going to be in this next week. So you want to make sure you're not feeding into those impulses because of an emotional upheaval, or at least an emotional imbalance. Don't be impulse buying. Don't be trying to pacify yourself, you know, very quickly just because you're trying to pacify these emotions. This week, there will be some injustices, some imbalances that are going to come about this week. It's going to require your patience, because a lot of these things might start coming at you pretty quickly, very generally speaking. So if it's in relationships, you might feel communication might be a little scattered. If it's with work, you might feel like things are kind of going full speed ahead, but yet you're not ready for it. So there's going to be that little bit of that kind of ruckus and scattered energy this week. And they're saying, do not be impulsive during this time. Once more, do not be impulsive during this time. And so a lot of this means that you just have to kind of surrender. Now we hear surrender all the time. What does that mean? Surrender, surrender, surrender. It sounds good like a bumper sticker, but what does that mean for our lives when we say to surrender? What I'm saying surrender really means is that you're allowing the circumstances to be what they are, and you're navigating through it without trying to change it. And instead of changing the circumstances, you're changing the way you experience the circumstances. That is a true aspect of surrendering. And when you trust the process, we hear all the time, trust the process. You can trust the process because you are more objective in understanding what is ahead during the process and why you're surrendering to the process. Because you understand that it's a situation that you need to go through. You understand it's a situation that you're going to acquire more power and intellect from. So you're going to go through that. And because you understand the power that you're going to extract from that, that's how you're able to trust the process. And trusting the process is really much having faith in the self, faith that you do have the power within to sustain, and the power within to maneuver around circumstances without being affected in that sense. And that requires power, but also requires that you don't become impulsive and, like I said before, to pacify the deprivation of energy and emotion. Because, as I said previously, this week you're going to have that roller coaster of emotion. And that's quite fine, because I think that due to the roller coasters of emotion, it's revealing certain things that you've been suppressing in your life, and the emotions that are kind of revealing to you the things that you haven't been addressing. That's a good thing, because then you're able to kind of repair those things or kick it out of your life in a sense. So let the emotional responses be in your benefit. But for the 7th time, do not be impulsive in trying to appease those emotions. Address the emotions. Confront those emotions, because you're going to see a lot more of what you've been doing in your life that has been blind to you or unbeknownst to you of what you need to fix and repair. Right. And a lot of times when we become impulsive, we start like maybe watching things that we shouldn't be watching or consuming. And that's okay. We don't have to like be walking around in life with saran wrap, figuratively speaking, of the soul. We should be able to be in a position where we can watch anything objectively and not inherently be affected by that. But a lot of people are not really that, thick-skinned or thick-spirited in the sense of they can just, not be affected by what they're consuming or watching. Many of you guys I always say many times, speaking of the debates tonight, some of you guys need to turn off that news. Some of you guys need to stop paying attention to the news because it's affecting your psyche. A lot of guys, if you get so heated and so personal about what's going on with the politics, then it's time for you to maybe turn that off a little bit and recenter yourself. Because if you're going to be so invested in the politics, you're not going to quit your job and run in politics or do anything to change what you're upset about, then getting upset about it's not doing anything for you. It's just keeping you in contempt of not what you want. It's keeping you in contempt of being powerless and allowing other people to have power over you. So you have to have discernment within yourself to understand, especially this week of the emotions, whether or not watching or consuming such information is beneficial for you. So some of you guys are so heavily charged about the politics and so heavily charged about, of course, the political theater that perhaps you need to take a step back from it. I've gotten to a point after, come to terms with my Aquarius self and the need for justice that, I look at the injustices around the world and I do what I can in my life to bring, peace and positivity to the life that I live. That's the best I can do. And so instead of harping over the injustices of the world, you're just going to keep yourself content and look at the world in a very negative fashion. And you're not going to bring any light to the world because you're so in contempt of what's going wrong that you can't fix. So therefore, spiritually speaking, you're not bringing anything to the table. And so I always say, we are all connected energetically as spiritual beings. So when a certain part of our species is living in love, is living in expansion, doing what's best for themselves, that energy harvests and does affect the collective. Just as if the other side of the collective is doing some negative, grave energy, it's going to affect the positive too. So we need to bring that balance by being focused on our lives and bringing our lives to empowerment in that sense. So some of you need to step away from your politics. If the name Trump or the name Biden triggers you, then you should probably not be talking about it. You can't handle that, because if you can't be objective over something that should be objective, you have no place to speaking about it. Let's keep it simple in that regard, because that's creating more division. Okay, especially now with the emotions and the debates and the political sphere. We don't need to be emotional when it comes to our politics and what's happening in our world. We need to be objective and we need to be insightful. And so if you're getting emotional over politics, turn it off. If you're getting emotional watching certain things or people are making you triggered in your own life and your personal relationships, turn that off too. Because right now, you need things in your life that's going to match your stability, but also bring, I would say, a little bit of challenge. That's going to challenge you into becoming better, of course. But if you keep overloading yourself with that negative boss, a negative relationship, and politics on top of it, and you're going to be over-encumbered with all that energy, you're not going to handle it well, and you're not going to have any growth. You're going to end up sabotaging situations in your life because you're now allowing yourself to put those boundaries intact, right? And we hear boundaries all the time. Boundaries. What is your threshold? Okay, when we think about boundaries, what is your threshold? How much can you take in life, right? Oh, but this is a bad relationship, but he doesn't hit me. Yeah, but he treats you like garbage. I mean, so does he have to hit you in order for that be the threshold when you say no? I mean, so let's think about this. And so sometimes you guys are experiencing so much emotional turmoil in your relationships or situationships, as I like to call them, that you're like, oh, but like he didn't really do anything. He didn't steal anything, and he didn't lie. I'm like, no, but he's taking advantage of you though, and he's using you or he's misleading you. That's disrespectful. That's the same energy as hitting you in the face. So ask yourself, what is your threshold? And it shouldn't be until they physically hit you. The threshold will be until they disrespect me. That's my threshold. I won't go any further than that in my life. And so now is a week for you to kind of look and be objective of things in your life that you're tolerating too much, and understand when you're being played, right? And so we can look at media, we can look at the news and all that stuff on social media and understanding through the advertisements and all this other crap that we're being played for just money, power, support, likes, views, right? There's a lot of that circling around. It's funny when we're in the day and age where we're scrolling through Instagram, we see a politician coming up trying to sell their cause and asking for money, right? Asking the little guy for money. Think about this. So you want to stop being played in your life. You want to start taking control of your own emotions, not being, again, reactive to other people and letting other people dictate how you're supposed to feel or not feel. You want to take control of that this week. And not so much this week, every day of your life, but this week is the focus of this. And this week is a time for that, because the Cancer season is an emotional, I would say, aspect, because Cancerians are very emotional creatures, and that's a very great thing to be is in tune with emotions. But like everything in life, it has a duality, right? Everything has a duality. And so and we look at the duality, so that being emotional could be very positive, could be very sensitive, could be very emotional, could be very giving, but also the negative side, that could be very aggravating, imbalanced, taking things too personally, right? And so we got to understand the balance of that. So this period is going to be, Cancer season is bring up a lot of emotions for you. I think with relationships primarily, you're going to see a lot of, like, I would say, indifferences in relationships, but also strong charges to relationships this Cancer season. A lot of you guys might even just find a really hot, love affair during this Cancer season. And a lot of you will also be pulling away from relationships that have been depriving of you. You're going to start feeling like, I don't want to be here any longer. And during this Cancer season time, you also will find balance in situations that couldn't find the balance. So I would say now it's really time to pay attention to your emotions. Pay attention to what you're feeling. Pay attention to your emotional responses and how you're responding. And take control of your responses. And not everything in life are we supposed to respond to. And do not let the emotions blur your perspective of what things really are. Because there might be a position, and I was talking to a good friend about this earlier, and they know who they are, and that you could be in a state of vulnerability when it comes to relationships. And because right now the emotional charge is heightened in Cancer season, you might meet somebody else who also has an emotional imbalance. You might meet somebody else who also is going through this emotional vulnerability, and then you guys connect. And there's like the little bond face off that. But there's confusion because you both are in this vulnerability, but you both don't know what you're wanting and where to go. And so you're clinging, but it's imbalanced. And there's going to be a lot of this kind of bumping of heads. And so if you're clear on it, and you're clear on what's going on, you'll be able to pull away from it and say, nope, it's toxic. I'm either trauma bonding, vulnerability bonding, whatever the case is, and you'll pull away from it. And so I think it's important to this week to do so. And, like I said before, understanding the purity that you do have within. And that sounds cliche too, but what do you mean by purity? You have positive intentions for your lives, guys. Everything you want in your life comes from a pure state. Wanting that relationship, wanting that career, wanting financial freedom, all the physicalities, right? But let's look beyond that, because those things provide to you an energy state, an experience. Being in a relationship, it provides you an excuse to be in love. But do you need a relationship as an excuse to be in love, or can you just have an excuse to be in a state of love just because you want to be, right? Look beyond, because that initial state of being in a relationship is pure. Just a state of being in love, companionship, and sharing. Same thing when it comes to, financial freedom. That's just that's right there. It says financial freedom, right? The energy behind wanting to be financially free is to be expressive, is not to be bound by anything that's physical. To be expressive, right? Freedom. That's a pure energy, to be free, to want to be free. So instead of focusing so much on, I have to get that boyfriend. Where's the boyfriend? I'm online. I'm on Tinder. I'm on Hinge. All these things, and like no one's matching, and I have just all these dates are failing. What do I do? Like, gosh, I just got to get that relationship. I want to be in love. It's like you're doing it all wrong. The relationship is the result of that. The relationship is the result of you being in a state of love, and the state of love means that you're just loving what you're doing in life. You're loving the state. You're loving just what's around you, and you're putting your emphasis and your efforts and emphasis into things that you love. That will grant you relationships. Same thing with financial freedom. If you're allowing yourself to be stuck and bound to a job without expanding out of it, I'm getting text messages, making sure we're not lagging here. Like I said before, if you're wanting financial freedom, you don't feel financially free, but yet you're allowing yourself to be stuck in a job. What does that mean? Does stuckness and freedom, do they match? Stuck at a job, I want financial freedom. Does that match? it's two completely opposite ideas in a sense. So in order to reach that financial freedom that you want, which is freedom in a sense, you got to free yourself from whatever you feel stuck or bound to. I was going to say binded to or bound to. Okay, now bound to. Like I said before, I will say it one more time. In order to allow yourself to find that financial freedom, you have to unstick yourself to things that you're bound to. Because stuck and freedom cannot exist in the same space. And same thing with those who want financial freedom. If you're in a relationship where you feel stuck too, and you're not allowing yourself to have that freedom, you're not going to find financial freedom either. Or the money won't set you free in a sense. You'll be in contempt of that. So look deeper. Look at the purity behind the desires that you're wanting. That's what I'm saying about the purity within. Because behind every desire has a pure intention. And when you focus on the pure intention and the state of being of that, then the expressions will manifest in your life. The physical, tangible expressions will manifest in your life. And that's what you want to pay attention to. And now is a good time during Cancer season to focus on those emotions and the feelings and the intuition within, to understand where those feelings are coming from and what you're truly wanting, instead of trying to connect and check all those boxes and making life a to-do list. Stop making a to-do list in your life. That sounded redundant. Stop making I'll say it better. Stop making life a to-do list. Okay? And so, yes, take advantage of this energy in Cancer season so you can really kind of refine and tap into your emotions and really kind of dominate your emotional responses. And really let it highlight the things that are keeping you stuck. And really highlight the things in your life that are pulling you out of the state of love and putting you into a state of fear or depression or anger, whatever they are. Because I would say this, the energy of love is expansion. That's what positive energy is expansion, evolving, right? And so if something's preventing you from expanding or evolving, it's not love, okay? And if you're continuously putting yourself or keeping yourself stuck in situations where it's not love, you'll never meet a loving relationship, or those things will be prevented. I mean, you will eventually when you grow out of it, but you will prohibit yourself from meeting those relationships that are loving and so forth, okay? So that's what Cancer season is going to kind of be revealing to y'all. Y'all, and all of a sudden a New Yorker is using y'all. So let me pull a couple more cards and then we'll get to the readings real quick. And maybe there'll be leftover time so you can leave me and watch the debates in full. So, all right. And protection and fruition. It's almost like we were saying before about boundaries. When you allow yourself to protect yourself and preserve your space, then things that you want actually do come to fruition, because that's a state of love, right? And so when you find the boundaries, and boundaries is, think about protection. Like we have boundaries, we have walls in our homes for a reason. We have boundaries, say, this is my home, don't enter. We have a lock on our door, don't enter, right? And so there are boundaries for a reason. And so you create those boundaries energetically and spiritually, say, these people cannot enter. If you're going to take advantage of my heart, take advantage of my soul, you cannot enter. That is my boundary. Self-respect, that is my boundary. And so I think, again, that when you understand those boundaries, you start realizing that's putting self-love into yourself, right? You're putting that emphasis into yourself. Then things come to fruition, because, again, when you're in the state of love, you attract love. The state of self-love attracts love. You love yourself, people love you. It's very simple. And when you find the value in yourself and you're putting all that value into protecting yourself and setting your boundaries, which is putting that self-love into yourself, guess what? That increases your value. You appreciate things more, and that what? Generates more money for you in a sense, because when you have that state of being and you're in that intellect, you start thinking about ways that you could express yourself, and you wouldn't be able to hold yourself back from expressing yourself. You'll find different ways or different reasons to make things valuable to society, which will generate more income for you. That's how the formula really exists when it comes to these manifestation of things. So, again, setting boundaries. Don't let these cliche bumper stickers say, oh, yeah, I got to set boundaries, when you don't know what that means and how to apply it, and you don't apply it just because you hear it so much. Let it resonate. Let it sink down into your soul and understand what that really means. And that's why I hear these cliche statements all the time, which is why I like to go deep on these cliche statements and say, this is what it means to do such, because we hear it so much, right? All right, let's get into the readings here and see what's going on. Okay, who be first? So I'm just loading my Venmo. And I think we have a live video. Okay, but who went first here? Okay, and then we have Yeah. Everything's like tech, and also tech has been screwy this week, at least for me. How many guys are having like tech issues this week? I had a hard drive fail, and so now my tech is acting weird now. Okay, Stephanie. Oh, so you want? Okay, so Stephanie, look at your Venmo. I'm going to send you a link in your Venmo. Okay, and click on that link, and it'll bring you live on here. All right. So I'm going to respond to the transaction in Venmo. Make sure you go on that. Let me send you this link here, and then we'll get you on live video. Word. Okay. So when you're ready, click on that link, Stephanie. We'll get you on live, and I'm going to take a question while we're waiting. Get the show on the road. Okay. So now we have Chelsea Manica. What is the vibe surrounding my board exam now? Still see me passing on July 6th? Yes. You're in passing energy. And I think you have been studying, so yes. Because last week when you asked the question, first time when you asked the question, I was like, I didn't sense it, right? So for those of you watching who don't know, at first when Chelsea asked me this question, she was probably like, and I didn't see much effort being put in, and she didn't start studying. And so then she started studying, and then she asked the second question. I'm like, yeah, it's possible. So now she asked a question, because I always say in situations like this, when some things are not written in the stars, it's based on the energy that you're at that's creating the prediction. So with her, I was giving her where she stood and the results. So that's why she keeps asking me, see where she's at now, because she's applying herself differently. So in this case, when she asked the question, I'm like, yeah, it feels like a passing for me. And so the response I get on that seems rather quick, right? Like the last time I hesitated a little bit. I'm like, yeah, probably like a C. So this time, like, yeah, it feels like an easy pass, an easy, in that sense. Don't stop studying though. Keep going. Okay. Don't let me say, okay, then I can relax. So keep studying. But like, it's definitely, well, you always panic. You always panic, Chelsea. So just understand, put that panicking signal until you put it into your studying until you feel confident. But to me, this read today feels like, yes, it feels passing grade to me. Feels good in that sense. So bueno. All right, so we have Stephanie coming in. Let me try to add my backgrounds here. Readings overlay. No, that's not it. There we go. Let's bring her in. There she. Why is she full screen?
Can you see me? I can't see me.
Now it's like this. My tech has been working so strangely. Let's move you. There we go. Okay. Give me a second. I got to get my headphones because I forgot to get them out. Because I did not think I was going to get any video sessions today. Bear with me a second here. Don't you love live?
I do.
I need the headphones. This way we don't have an echo for you, and they can hear you clearly. Okay. All right, Stephanie. And you know how I love to say your last name? Stephanie. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, great. Yes. So what is your question?
So I just switched to a very prestigious luxury group in a real estate here. And
Yes.
I just want to get what you pick up on that decision. It just kind of happened organically, but it was fast.
So the question is about the choice. Is that what you're asking? The decision to do
Yes.
such? Okay.
Yes. It's already
me s-
made, so.
Yeah. But because I want to scan the environment.
Okay.
I just want to kind of see how that would unfold for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a right decision, all that great stuff. Give me a couple of seconds. Let me just feel this out. Yeah, I think this is, it feels like a good connection it's clean to me, meaning that when I say like clean energy, like I don't feel like there's much of a hassle within the environment, within, if you call it agency. So it feels like people are just pretty much doing their thing. Like it feels like very straightforward. People kind of like don't beat around the bush. So, and I heard competent. So I think everyone who works or you'll be working with is competent enough to like build more connections and create more deals and contracts. So I think this is necessary to create more contracts for you, and newer relationships in a sense. And sorry if I don't not use the right terminology, but you can understand what I'm getting with that. So yeah, it feels like a good change for you, but it almost feels like it's necessary. You know what I mean? And I think again, October, November, I feel like more connections or contracts being made with you in the sense. And so I feel like this is kind of on the road to that too.
But before that as well, right? Like,
yeah. I'm talking about specifically from this, but like you have other things outside of this as well, I feel like. But to me, October, November, like highlights for me. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
So maybe that's more of a bigger contract or a bigger deal, right? So maybe you'll get things before that's just kind of normal for you, right? I just like the height, the peak of that's October, November for some reason.
Okay.
Because you might get a contract, or I mean, I don't know if you call them contracts or not, but or a deal. I don't know what you want to call it, but understand what I'm saying. Yeah, that might be just normal to you, so it wouldn't be like stand out. I was like, yeah, I've had this type of contract before, and then October, November is a bigger one that's really significant. I feel more of a significance in October, November.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like a peak.
Yeah. I actually haven't been this excited about anything since my mommy went to heaven, and this week it's been so high thanks to that.
Yeah, I mean, you've been guided to this. I feel like this is necessary, so I feel like this is part of your journey anyway. So it wasn't just like some random thing that you're trying out. I feel like it's necessary for your growth, in a sense, and making connections.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad you got to tell everyone here, because the last time when you talked about we you have to let people know that you found that pink rosary we were talking about.
I did the purple rosary. I have it.
Purple,
actually.
yeah, lavender.
Yes.
Yeah, because first you're like, I don't. Yeah.
I have a little altar in my living area, and it's on it with her picture and like some other stones.
Yeah, because at first I think
Yeah.
I like people in the audience because sometimes they don't know what we're talking about, and they're like, okay, and then you go off, and then I get the message from you, but we were talking about her mom came through, and I'm just letting the viewers know, and she was talking about a lavender purple like beaded jewelry, and Stephanie was not aware of it at the time, and after she's like, oh my god, I found my mom's. It was like a lavender rosary or something, beaded rosary, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
and that was something of her mom. So I know many people who watch every week. I just wanted to let them know that you made that connection.
No, you did. You're amazing.
She did.
I've really had a hard time with all of that, and she's been presenting herself.
She's been presenting
times.
herself. Absolutely. But another thing too, she's kind of connecting with, I don't know why she showed me like a fern plant too. So you might want to get a fern plant too, because some reason she connect with this fern plant. So something that nature in your home by the altar can help like bring her energy around more. I've noticed that spirit likes for us to kind of bring a physical object to channel their energy more. She's liking the green ferns for some reason, bringing that kind of greenery into the home too can help.
Okay. Yeah.
Because she's also. Yeah, go ahead.
I feel her energy all the time.
Yeah. Any other questions you want to ask me?
Yeah, well, it's not. It's kind of confirmation. Going back to what you just said, as far as like protecting our energy and setting boundaries, you'll probably be proud.
Well, I'm saying, but go ahead.
Because I actually overprotected myself to the point that he actually blocked me. So.
Good. You know how I feel about that, right?
I know. I just wanted to get your feedback on it real quick.
Yes, and I'll read the energy on him too. Your mom was saying that your mom was saying about somehow this fern is like to ward off negative energy, or palm or whatever, fern or palm to ward off negative energy is like symbolic or something, or ritualistic. She's saying to me. That's why I think she was telling you to bring it in, because it feels like she said warding off negative energy. Let me see about this, about his state and blocking you on that. It's a mixture of emotions on this. There's anger, there's jealousy, there's how dare she, there's I don't need this. So there's a lot of like emotions wrapped up on this. It's made him quite schizo. And so the blocking wasn't just the fact of saying like F you, I'm done, I want to see you. It was like, I can't handle this. So can't handle the fact that you stated what you needed. You can't handle the fact that you're not taking it any longer, and can't handle the fact that you see through him. So I would say, based on our last one-on-one reading, I've been trying to get you to that point. I'm glad you are. That's why I'm like, he blocked. I'm like, good. Because at the same time, and this is for a lot of people in the room too, you don't need half-assed energy. Get what I'm saying? You want an energy that's consistent with you. And I think your mom is helping you with that too, to guide you away from those types of circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know, not that you have to a traditional relationship, but you need to be a relationship where you're the most engaged with the person. And you need a relationship to where you feel most compatible with them, and that you have the most center of companionship with the person, not to where you're kind of secondary, they're saying. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why this situation, you need to put this situation beside, is because you're not secondary. You have to be primary in your relationships right now. You know, and I think that that's really kind of deep down inside. Now, again, that doesn't mean it has to be monogamy. It just means that you need to have a relationship where you feel like you're primary. That's all. And I think that's what's coming next. I don't see love in 2024, but I see love in 2025.
Yeah, I don't want love in 2024. I don't have the energy for it.
Right. But to me, 2024 is like peak. I see peak contracts. I call it contracts, but you know what I mean? I see like
Deals,
peak kind of keep deals, relationships, right? And I feel like 2025, I think that you'll get back into dating like mid 2025. I see dating again to where it's like carefree. And I think that you might find something that would be monogamous. And I think you find something that somebody is going to want to settle down. It seems like mid 2025 on that, actually, because they're showing you kind of like happy being attached in a sense, and actually being happy with this dynamic, you know, and fulfilled. So that will kind of hit you off guard, they're saying. It would kind of snap you off guard in this relationship that comes to you, but very, very fulfilled in that sense and exciting. Because they kind of show you like skipping, like you're not skipping. So they're kind of like showing that energy. I mean, it's cheesy, but that's kind of what they're saying about how you are having, you know, different step, you know, a pep to your step in a sense because of that. So it's around the corner. But I think you've been doing such a great job. And I know when we first talked about Ashley, I was saying that, you know, this could be this way if you want to, but I don't feel like you're going to want this in the long term, and you're going to want to pull away. And I think what you're doing is setting the precipice of and the tone for having a better, more more connected relationship that you're really wanting, you know what I'm saying, in that future.
Is he going to try to attempt to take it? I mean, he didn't say anything. I was the one that said everything. He just blocked me.
Yeah, because he understands where you're at. He understands he can't get through, and he's lost. Like it's a lost cause for him because he can't make decisions. You know.
Yeah.
So so that's what he does. He's just gonna run, and so again,
is he gonna try to be a distraction later? Like,
no, I don't think he'll try to be a distraction. I think he's kind of just gonna let it be for a while, and he might like connect and apologize, and you know, I feel like that's typical of him to do that, but. No, I think it's time for you to set yourself free of it. You know, there's too much ego in him. You know, and the ego with him is kind of like, you know, like because there's a situation, it's like, well, that's her problem. I don't have to deal with that. And like, it's that whole, even though he should be responsible, it's like, I'm not responsible for that. That's her problem. It's this ego thing that he thinks that he calls the shots in that sense. And that's what I don't like about it. And hesitation and, you know, kind of always being in a way he can't really express what he really means, and shutting things down and being closed off. And so even him blocking you is a sign of that too. Just shutting down, you know, and I don't think that's fair for someone to handle relationships like that at all. I think it's not fair at all. I think it's disrespectful, especially if they want to take a back seat. You can say, "Look, I'm taking the back seat. I appreciate what you're saying, but we're just going to separate here and move along." That's how a normal person would handle that. But he's just reactive because you're not playing his game anymore.
No, and I told him off too.
Good. I'm glad. Needs to be.
I did.
That needs to be. But let me tell you, he convinced you that being in a situation like that is something that you want. And I never read that that's what you really wanted. I was like, oh yeah, I'm okay with unconventional relationship, and I'm okay with this like open stuff. And it's like he tried to convince you to think that that was normal, what you want, but it's not what you truly want. And you're going to figure that out, and next year you'll figure out you want something more consistent and more stable and more, I don't want to say monogamous, but more invested in the two of you. I just think he tried to convince you that it's okay to want this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not in a relationship loving kind of energy anyway, so I
You
don't
will,
really
but I'm
care.
saying, but you will be. Like you're not supposed to be right now.
Yeah.
You're supposed to detach from this, and you're supposed to focus on the height of nice deals coming through this year, and then next year, that's where you're going to be knocked by a surprise by mid 2025. Could be April, May.
I have a lot of deals that I've been working on the past year or so that has been like about to pop,
Explode.
but I think this new group it's actually gonna make them come
That's
to
what I said.
life.
That's exactly what I said in the
Yeah.
beginning when you asked me about that. I said they're the reasons that push it, and like you need this to push it into gear. That's what I said in the
Yeah.
beginning. Yeah. So again, you'll probably
Yeah.
listen to it back, like, oh yeah, so that happens always afterwards. But
I know.
it's always I'm like Stephanie, come with me in the moment. but
I
but
love
yeah,
you. Thank you, Scott. You're amazing.
you're awesome, love. And the whole reason why I was kind of pushing you out of that situation with Ashley, because I know you deserve better and you want better and you're going to find better. And this is a great peak for your career right now. I think it's a great move. Like I said before, you need this to boost everything, and it will, and it's going to fall into place perfectly. Again, October, November is going to be a heightened 2 months. Either October, November will be heightened for you this year with your work. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Anything
I
else?
love
And
you.
your mom loves you too.
My
Get
mommy.
your mom loves you
Yes.
too. She said, and get the palm frond. Okay, get that palm or whatever. Like saying like warding off the negative energy, like clearing out your space right now of the residuals of the memories of Ashley and all that. Just clearing that out subconsciously, and also doing that in your house as a symbolic ritual so you're purging all that and clearing out that space for you. She's saying.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good to see you, my love. Have a rest. Good
Thank you,
night.
honey. Thank you.
Bye
You
bye.
too.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Isn't she gorgeous? Isn't Stephanie gorgeous? Yeah, guys. Just to kind of to dovetail off that, remember, where you stand in your relationships and where you want to stand in your relationships. Sometimes there's a big difference of where you're standing in your current relationship and where you want to stand in a relationship, and sometimes they're not matching. And that comes from the soul. And sometimes it takes a situation for us to realize where we actually want to stand in a relationship and where we're going. So thank you for that, Stephanie. Let's move on. Hey, Daryl, fill us in. What's going on with the debates, Daryl? Fill us in. Someone just texted me and said it's a shit show. I have people who are both sides. They're texting me about the debates. Oh, Biden's doing great. Oh, Trump's doing great. I'm like, ugh. I don't really care for either one, but that's just me. I'm a rebel at heart. Don't like politics and picking sides. I think we should all enjoy all sides in a sense. Okay, Patty, I suspect the statins I've taken for 4 years is causing my joint muscle pain from erosive arthrosclerosis. I want to stop it gradually to see if my pain improves. My cholesterol levels weren't even high. Any guidance? Yes, please, my love. Patty, the statin drugs are so bad. And my mom, if she's in the room, she's probably watching the debates. But you will understand they cause a lot of issues, blood issue-related issues as well, too. I had many people on blood pressure medication, but the blood pressure is still high. It can cause a lot of inflammation, weak joints, bones. I would advise, and my opinion here, right? Because I'm not a doctor, but based on my knowledge about nutrition, knowledge about these drugs, it would be beneficial to wean off of those statin drugs. They're old school. I don't think they're current, and a lot of them are completely unnecessary. I think that you can watch your get your levels, maintain your levels, change your regimen, understand what's spiking, your blood pressure, what's not, and especially if it's not high, there's nothing to worry about, and really gauge. And work with a nutritionist or work with a doctor that can actually manage your levels, safely. But to me, I've never seen positive results from those statin drugs, and that's a cause. That's what they cause. As Brenda's correct here, that's what they cause. That's a side effect. So if your blood pressure is low and cholesterol is not even high in a sense, then you don't need it. And to me, high cholesterol, to me, in my opinion, again, is a myth. And cholesterol is not the problem. Inflammation is the problem. They talk about, your LDLs, the bad cholesterol. They're just slower moving in the blood. The cholesterol cleans your blood. But if there's inflammation, then the LDLs can cause a blood clot because of inflammation. Inflammation is what causes the blood clotting, not the LDLs. They call it the bad cholesterol. It's so stupid how they explain this. It's such a myth. It's so archaic and outdated. So you want to figure out what causes inflammation. Therefore, your LDLs don't get blocked and cause a blood clot. That's what happens. So high cholesterol, low cholesterol, I would do alternate research on that too, with also current modern doctors explaining such. It's such archaic. And so, remember, doctors don't know anything about nutrition. They're just taught how to prescribe. It's our job, doesn't say your job. It's our job to understand how to take care of our nutrition. Okay? It's our job to make sure we're maintaining our nutrition, that we know what our body needs. That's our job. The doctor's job is just to prescribe. You have this problem? Take this pill. Take this shot. That's all they know. And there's nothing wrong with that, because sometimes you might need a drug or whatever the case is, depending on where you're at in your life. So I'm definitely not anti-Western, but I don't think Western medicine solves every problem either. And there's a lot of Western medicines that's just there to pacify people, because American people do not want to change their diets and don't want to be good, in good health. They just want to do what's quick and easy. And so they keep creating more drugs just to pacify the need for quick and easy. When to me, today's quick and easy is not quick and easy. It's more cumbersome. It's more ill health and sustaining ill health and then pacifying ill health, and something you pacify this thing and it creates another issue. It's not easy, right? The easy road and the quicker road is just to take care of your health and maintain your health, right? And your diet and your regimen, and understand what's coming in and going out and all that processes, and being very much the manager of your body. Manage your body, and so. So for Patty, I would recommend that intuitively. That would be my advice and my opinion. And I'd work with a doctor who believes the same. Look for doctors who are holistic and have a great balance of Eastern and Western, right? And no nutrition. That's a perfect doctor. Perfect doctor to me isn't someone who doesn't know anything about nutrition and food or the chemical makeup of our bodies. That's not a good doctor. They only know about what to prescribe for an illness. That's not a good doctor. My doctor better understand about food, nutrition, get me on a better regimen. That should be what a doctor does. And using both Eastern and Western and what goes accordingly, not just one. When Western medicine and people who work in the Western medicine fields damn Eastern medicine, you don't want to go with that. You do not want to go with those types, that intellect. Because there's a lot of things that derive from the earth that have very much a lot of healing components. Because what do the doctors tell you if you want to ask about nutrition? Eat healthy foods. What's healthy foods? So foods that derive from the earth. So if healthy foods don't cause any illnesses within us, why would things from the earth that are herbals? Why would that not be able to heal us and be good for us? But then we have to rely on a chemical. And I'm not saying that there's no progressions in Western medicine, that there is, but we have to understand when it's appropriate. For cholesterol, blood pressure, not appropriate. For vaccines, sure. For certain things, vaccines, sure. For certain vaccines, no. Like, I am not a believer in the flu shot. Like, I see all these people running to get their flu shots and then get sick with the flu that year. What'd that do? So yeah, my vibe is for sure, and just my opinion alone, but of course, my opinion doesn't persuade my read. I could have an opinion about it, but I would still say, hey, you need it. And I've had many cases of that where I'm like, my opinions feel a certain way about these things, but I actually encouraged some of my clients to go on a specific medication that they needed at that time, because it was the only option for them at that time. So if it was the only option for you to take that medication, I would still push the medication and endorse it. But you're not in that position. You're not in that position. Now, some people go so bad and they need to be on a certain medication. To save. Okay, Christina Katsodas. Again, remember, card pulls are general and simple and quick. I'm not doing full reads on card pulls. That's what I was doing wrong the last time. This time, just keep it simple, one likes phrase, and we're moving on the card pull. I was giving way too much. It was taking too much time. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you know better, Patty. And your son, I'm sure, when he was in working health and fitness, he knows better, and I'm sure he's going to channel you. All right, just for Christina Kautsotis, if I'm saying that correctly. Yeah, but especially a lot of people are getting the flu from the flu. If I'm going to get the flu, I'd rather get the flu naturally than do the shot. You know what I mean? And I don't know. A lot of it's money making. We have to understand, big pharma isn't all about helping people. There's a lot of profit making with big pharma too. Let's be rational about these things. I can't tell you how many times I watch things on streaming services and the amount of pill ads. I with Eric, we watch stuff together and we're like, every advertisement is a pill, a pill, a pill, a pill, a pill, a pill. It's like, is there anything else besides pill advertisements? I was gonna say, Patty, because your son was like waving a big like no on this stuff and saying, you know better, Okay, for Christina, card pull simple. Card pull simple. Releasing frustrations. They're saying that you're getting rid of right. I feel like healing. They're saying you're healing. You're healing from getting rid of a relationship or a dynamic. Okay. Koku to dus. Katsodas. Yeah, we're just gonna not try that. I'm just gonna call Christina K. Okay. They're saying they're saying you are, or confirming that you have, healed from a very, I would say, important heartbreak in a sense. You're going through healing, or you're going through an issue, but you're feeling better about moving on. Right? It's a male energy. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a lover energy, just be some sort of relationship that was heavy, that was causing some turmoil, that you're saying you're moving on, you're feeling better about this, and, now it's kind of like, expected. And I think that you kind of are resisting, that at some point, but like letting it go. And so they're kind of just saying it's good. It's good that you're healing from this. It's good that you've let this be in the past, where this relationship was. Again, it's a male energy. And now you're kind of like, you're going to be sitting clear and sitting good on, being in the right, I would say, because you are in the right. And it's like, I love the card here. She's kind of just sitting there like, cheers, I know what I'm doing. The mermaid sitting on there with just kind of like all like in control and just like chill and saying, I know I'm right. And so you might even be vindicated about something that you were questioning and might become right about it. And realize, yep, I knew it, and I just got vindicated. So validation, they're saying you'll be getting on a situation that you probably knew that didn't come to light, will come to light, and you'll be vindicated on it. So good riddance to that relationship, or whatever that dynamic was. The masculine card energy could be even a boss or some sort of other alternate relationship. It doesn't just have to be a male lover. So I just want to just be clear about that too. But I think you would know what I'm talking about. Beth Lassue. I can't get clear answers from the property management of who put in new renters who are complaining too much. Please give me advice how to handle the situation. I just paid for a new AC furnace. I want peace with them and money. I mean, with new renters, like the complaining too much, slap them with the legalities. Okay, just want to see the response from Christina. Okay, I'm just catching up. I think we're both catching up with each other. Good. That's good. Awesome. So the vindication is going to be good. Is going to feel good for you too, because you're like sitting high on this. Okay. I love that. Okay, Beth. They're just saying slap him with the legalities of what you're entitled to. Like, give him a list of such, Beth. I mean, I did property management, so I understand this. I dealt with renters and dealt with tenants because I did property management myself back in my old life, in my 20s, and some of my 30s, I think. And so I would just, if they're complaining, I'll say, this is what I'm legally responsible for. And this is all I'm doing in these parameters of such. Everything else is out of my responsibility. That's it. That's all you do. You can send them a list of the things that you're responsible for, and have them respond to you of things that maybe go out of alignment to such. Fix it, and then that's it. This way, it gives them no leverage to complain. And have an inspector come and inspect things. But that could be maybe not was it convenient for them in timing. Have someone inspect everything in the place and give you a report and write down a list. Be proactive. If they're going to complain, I'm having someone come in here to inspect everything and give me a report, and here is what I'm legally responsible for. Do that. This way, you basically told them, I'm taking care of what I'm supposed to do legally. I'm having everyone inspect everything. Make sure everything's up to code, and when you do fulfill it, you're done. Then you can't complain any longer. That's how I would handle that. So, because then we'll just get them off your back. And you've done what you have to do. And if they become problematic, then you have a legal case about them being problematic. But that depends on the state. Good. Thank you, Scott. You're the best. You will be. Yes, I will be. I'm here every. Oh no, 4th of July I won't be here. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, 4th of July we're taking off because I don't think many people are gonna be here live on the 4th of July. So yeah, I will be taking the 4th of July off. Unless people demand me to go on, maybe I'll go live. But yeah, most likely I won't be because most people will be doing things for 4th of July. So, Brenda Zwick, is it coming up on a year since I've retired? What is next for me? Brenda, that's a very, very broad question. What is next for me? And that requires a full read of a session of what's next for you after retirement. So I will be very general of guiding you on this. I mean, that's like a full loaded question. And Brenda, maybe you could teach people to maybe not be so broad in your questions, please. Thank you very much. What's next for you? I think, again, it's really about finding what really resonates with you right now. I mean, I can be very simple on this. You know, we always, when people retire, they have to find, and I've dealt with this so many times, I've seen this so many times, you really would have to find out where you stand right now in your life and not putting emphasis and priority on other people. And so that's going to be uncomfortable. So please don't apologize, Brenda. I'm teasing you. Please, you don't apologize. I'm being very playful, okay? Brenda, you know me, and I never know I'm being playful. But it's a broad question. But yes, I would definitely look at more the emotional side. I guess I can prep you for the emotional and understanding where you stand with when it doesn't relate to other people. And that's probably the change, for you. And so I would focus on that, and what they're saying right now is just a focus on leisure for now. Because the leisure will get you kind of figure out what the next step is, right? And so simple things are showing me, like doing some gardening work. I know it sounds stupid cliche because retired. I don't mean it this way. There might be some healing elements to working with plants and stuff of that nature. So just getting to more leisure work and reading and just finding a more relaxing regimen right now. Because what's going to happen is that you'll find like an inspiration for something new. And that's something that should be created by you at this point. And so let this time be whatever you want it to be in that sense, right? So I just think you're just struggling with the fact of not having responsibilities, right? Whether it be with family or work. And so that could be a change and cumbersome, but that's okay. I mean, that's kind of a new journey anyways of understanding, okay, you're only doing for yourself now. You're only doing for you. And that's different, but that's something you should embrace. But get used to doing such through leisure right now. Allowing yourself time to relax, and retirement should be a celebration. Reading, that's what I saw you with a book. That's exactly what I saw you do was with a book. And that's why I didn't want to say that. But you might just need to be doing that right now, and don't make excuses for that right now. And I think if you say to yourself, I don't have to do anything, and just get used to that, then you'll start doing things you want to do. So it's kind of get a way to get your brain on board, I know, that's what we're saying, my love. And so this is something to get used to. As you allow yourself to unwind from this, what's going to happen is then you start feeling desires pop out. You know what? I think I want to take that trip. I think let that stuff happen organically. It's just you're phasing out of a previous mode. And I think right now this should be a fun mode for you. Like retirement should be a celebration. right? I've gotten to a point in my life I don't have to work anymore, you know? And I think if you think about that in that way, and you're allowing yourself to phase out of it and allow yourself to just rest and have some leisure, then it feels, I know, trust me, I understand this, Brenda. I understand this, but let me ask you this question, because I have that feeling of being unproductive too. Taking care of yourself is not unproductive. If you got sick and ill, is taking care of yourself unproductive? No. So in this case here, you got to take care of yourself emotionally and detach from being responsible for everybody. That's productive. Okay? So productive just doesn't mean that you're doing things. Productive means you're allowing yourself to heal and grow. Okay? Like I said, this requires a full session. Like, it's more than just one question. It requires some guidance here. So I'm just gonna leave it there, right? And I think you're smart enough to understand what I'm saying. But, not being responsible for somebody is kind of being productive, and learning how to break that is being productive. Working on yourself is being productive. Okay? And if you don't see the fact of working on yourself and take care of yourself as being productive, that's the problem. And that's why you're having a little bit of an indifference right now. Okay? So, you'll grow out of that. But just tackle it from that context. Okay? And also, and Brenda, one more thing too. Understand that it is a change of phasing experience, and allow yourself time to do that. Okay? Okay. No, Nita, I did. Didn't I? Did I? Oh, I didn't. Oh, I'll save it for last. Save for last. Actually, here's an intermission. I can't believe Nina has a card pull for us. That's because Nina, if you're listening, I didn't do the card pull because I already did it before the live. I was running through it, so I'm thinking I did it in my head. But Nina has some. I think this is a perfect time to inject Nina's message right here.
What is up, Thursday crew? It is me, Nina. I did a poll for y'all today, so I'm going to share that. The first card that came through was the mind. And so what I'm getting from this is, how can you become aware of what is in your mind? Kind of like becoming aware of the patterns of the thoughts of what goes on in that space, and how to bring that from the mind down into the body and to be released through emotional balance. And I kept getting imagery of like tears and water and crying, and through that release is where the emotional balance comes. And the harmony and that peace and that stability. So where can you take what's been on your mind and kind of alchemize it into emotional balance this week?
That was actually, I have to say, I'm glad I forgot, because that was a perfect time to inject that. Actually, how cute is Nina, right? How cute is she? That's interesting. I'm glad we injected it there, because Brenda, you should listen to that. You should definitely listen to that. And I think it's funny how, the emotional cards that she was pulling too is kind of like similar to the opening reading that I was doing, right? About in Cancer season. So very on par, but I think it was good to inject that there. And so, Brenda, I want you to listen to that and pay attention to your emotions. And emotions telling you that you need to detach from being responsible for things in your life and learn how to just be for a moment, just for a moment. And that'll inspire you to make decisions from passion. Okay? From passion. Oh, I love Sydney Aaron. I love you too. Would you scare my daughter Emma? She had a high fever all week. Yeah, there's been a lot of fevers going around, actually. A lot of fevers going around. See, Nina? So the timing wasn't bad at all. You and I were both in sync on that one, so I love that. See, Nina, we're a team. We're soul team too, spirit team. It's funny, Sydney. I had a couple of friends that deal with like headaches too. I've had headaches as well. I think it's just the environment right now. It's Cancer season, and Emma feels sensitive to me. So help to keep her emotions low and hydrate her right now, because I feel dehydration too. But yeah, it feels similar to what we've been having. Like I was saying before about light workers having like headaches and neck pain. And like today I had a bad headache, and I actually got it kind of like attacked by an opposition of an entity. And so I had to approach it, and then the headache started going away. But there's a heaviness. So she feels sensitive to me. So this feels more spiritual than physical. But just make sure she's hydrated too on the physical level as well. But make sure she's guarding herself. Make sure she's guarding herself. Make sure she's not being susceptible to external energies. Now's the time to protect it. Like I'm realizing now too, I have to make sure I'm not like listening to stupid shit, and I'm just being very kind of focused on preserving. She's got to do that too. She's got to do that too. Because the first thing I want to do, I'm like, okay, let me scan if it's physical or environmental, and then let me see if it leads to spiritual. I always check the physical first. But it seems that's how it seems for me. Okay. But I also feel like she'll get past it too, you know, and to guard herself for sure. Sophia Rodriguez. And thank you guys for doing the questions instead the card pulls all over the place. You guys are kind. Yes, and let me read you guys something too that was sent to me by my brother Christopher Rotecki. He got this from one of his nuggets, and so this might help you. So she says, have either of you or any members of your team been experiencing pain or headache on the left temple or achy and stiff neck? And he was all week. This should be over the last week to 10 days. Okay, so another week. Another healer and I just found a very interesting galactic entity that was attempting to activate the lizard brain in light workers in attempt to be able to control them. Just doing mop up now and want to see how widespread this was. In other words, which group has being targeted? Was this for light workers in general, master level, light workers, or just those of us who are actively working on clearing up bad stuff on Earth? We know at least for 4 individuals on the latter group that were being targeted. So that was from a connection with Christopher's. And I just want to read that because I feel some of you guys are feeling the same thing that I've been feeling. And even just today, I felt attacked by an entity in a sense. And there's a power play going on, and that's just kind of, there's always a power play in that sense. It's a game that way, and there's always an antagonist, right? And a protagonist. And so be aware of this, guys, okay? And it just might also be part of the energies around that's kind of activating more of the lizard brain in a sense. And so we do shift, so make sure you're mindful of this, okay? And I don't necessarily think it's an attack. But you know, it could just be that the way we're shifting is kind of activating the lizard brain in a sense, and that's creating some of our tension. So it's time to like address it and to be aware of this, but also understand how to defend ourselves from that energy in a sense to preserve and set those boundaries. Because if you think about tension too, that's very emotional. Emotions cause tension, Cancer season. So it kind of makes sense. Do I believe there's this actual entity trying to do that? Not necessarily, but I think it's a shift. I just think it's the shift that we're going on that I've been preparing for many months. I've been guiding you for almost the past 8 months, actually, through each shift that's going on. But I've my neck pain, crackling in the back. It's been a week for me, and I'm sleeping fine, or my sleeping has been kind of tense too. So yeah, it's been definitely obvious that we're all going through this. Okay, I personally think it's just Cancer season. Personally, okay, I think light workers are primarily more sensitive to it. Personally. Okay, so protect yourselves. Okay, lavender oil. I would recommend you guys just getting some lavender oil, putting it around you. I feel like lavender oil is very cleansing for the brain. Just smelling that fragrance and smelling the lavender can be very cleansing. So I'd recommend getting some lavender oil. Okay, so yes, that's what I feel about that, Stephanie, because she feels sensitive to me. That's sensitive. You know. Okay, Sophia Rodriguez, did I do a good job with standing up to my boss this week, or should I have done something different? Thank you, love. Let me see. And let me see if there's repercussions of you doing that. Too, Sophia. Me too. I'm like that too. I've been having great shifts. I feel really great, but there's the tension. You know what I mean? Is she psychic? Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. That makes sense. One psychic picks up on another psychic. I recently had a psychic reading. And surprisingly, the psychic did not pick up that I was a psychic medium. Very surprised. So I'm like, how can a light worker not sense another light worker? Yeah, I did have a psychic reading done. It was interesting. They brought the names of 2 of my relatives. Their names like quickly, but they were not accurate on them, and that's not the relatives I really are connected with. So it was interesting. He had pulled their names, But I was surprised. I'm like, how does the light worker not see another light worker? What's going on? But maybe I'm difficult to read. I don't know. But I still have yet to have a good psychic reading. I'm open as far as like I trust everybody. I don't believe everyone's scamming, but I'm like, maybe I just have a different vibe to read. I don't know. But I would, and Emily and I were, or Erica and I, Erica and I were discussing this about like someone reading me, not Erica. Somebody else was telling me this. I forgot who was telling me this about me being read. And it's like, yeah, it'd be nice if someone could read me well for a change. But I don't know. Who knows? But I never care about my future. I was like, I know my future. I just kind of like to see like what comes in. But so yes, Sydney, that's what I feel. And card pull for you in conjunction is a Wheel of Fortune card. Sydney, for you, okay? And so obviously you are definitely starting a new cycle. I think that's a lot of actually no, Chris has read me before. Yes, he was good. It was very astrological. He went my past lives. But I mean someone who doesn't know me. But yeah, Christopher's great. He was on the astrology side of things. Yeah, that was great. I mean like a psychic medium. Like a psychic medium, channeling spirit, because Christopher doesn't channel spirit. He was dead on with the astrology, and the past and all that stuff. So yeah, of course he's great. But a psychic medium who looks future and all about connecting with spirit and all that stuff. I never really had a one that was connecting to me. I feel deprived of that a little bit. I feel like I do for other people. I'm like, I want to experience that in a way. I don't know, but yeah. So your card pulled, Sydney, was the Wheel of Fortune. So clearly you're going through another. You're starting that new cycle, and I think that's another psychic beam. AC is asking if you always know if someone is psychic. What? Oh, good to see you, Christina. Are you leaving? Good night. Good night, Patty. Good to see you too. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. So these are the cards for you, Sydney. Wheel of Fortune, and the Seven of Cups is all about like nurturing different aspects, and every dynamic in your life is coming to fruition. So you're starting that journey of things coming into balance for you. Okay. So those are your cards in conjunction to the question that you asked. All right. So that's a good sign. So you've been clearing up old shit, starting this new cycle. So each little, if you look at every cup being filled, love, right? Different components of that. That's what's going to be kind of falling into play for you. She's asking if you always know if someone is psychic that you are reading. I do. I meet a lot. Every person I call out to psychic is a psychic. And every like medium, I even like call it your medium. Yeah, because when I look at professions, I'm like, oh, you're a healer. So I've gotten that all the times in my sessions. And I think a lot of readers, there's some readers that just throw out there, oh, you're intuitive. It's like, well, duh, we're all intuitive, dear. But, if I tell someone they're psychic, that's different. I know they have psychic abilities or psychic awareness or are practicing such. And so especially if the High Priestess card comes out in the tarot deck, if I'm using that, I'm like, they have abilities. So yeah, I've always spot out psychics and mediums for sure. And I spot up psychotherapists, or I spot up people working finances. I can see all what they're doing. That's being psychic. The ones that are hard for me when people do administrative work, I'm like, I just see like an office building. Like they're like, yeah, I'm a supervisor of this. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I just saw office, administrative work. Those are harder ones to read for me. But no, I can see all the psychics and the mediums or astrology, or I've even see those who do witchcraft or into the cult and dark. Yeah, I can see it. Why? How could you not? That's part of the person of what they express. But I'm surprised it doesn't come up. And didn't come up in my read. I was kind of, not disappointed, but I'm just like, that's like what I do. It's like who I am, right? And I also like I guess part of me wants to like, besides Christopher, Chris Reck, and Devin, I just want to see if there's like other really great readers out there, that are holding up our space. And I think there's a lot of people who are readers, but maybe they're just not, doing it enough. I don't know. Who knows? But Scott Cruz is an amazing psychic, just so you know. But yeah, Sophia. Yeah, I feel like it was good the way you stood up to your boss. I mean, it doesn't feel like you were so aggressive. I just think that you handled it well, and I feel kind of like, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like they're kind of double thinking things, second questioning things about you in a sense, in a good way. I feel like they respect you for doing that. Like, oh wow, okay. You know what I mean? So it feels like a good response. I don't feel like it's a response like, you stood up for yourself and they're like, well, we're going to fire her, get rid of her. It's kind of like, wow, okay, she has a point. So yeah, I feel like it's going to work in your favor in that sense. It reminds me of those people that are like assholes, but when someone stands up to them, they're like, I like you, right? So it gives you that energy, almost like you standing up and speaking for yourself. They're like, I like that. That's the vibe I get from that. So I feel like it could work well. And I like the emperor vibes here. So that's really, to me, it's like a dictator energy, So I think that you kind of encompass that to the dictator, so. Yeah, I don't usually gloat about myself, but I just had to for a moment and say how I'm very much confident and love the work that I do. I've been doing it for so long. And now that like AI is doing music now, like have you guys like seen like AI now can create like now like videos, of course. Now AI is creating music now. I'm like, are you serious? Is the only thing left is going to be psychics at this point? Because, if they're taking over music, it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, I build my music from scratch and now people are just typing in AI and it's creating music. You can tell, but it's like this AI is just taking everything that we've created as humans and just ripping it off, ripping it off. Ugh. I don't know about that. Now it just makes you start to think like how many artists have been around for the past 5 years are actually AI artists, and that's not an auto-tune effect. It's just AI. And then you have a stupid face on there, these freaking stupid braids, and these dumb, ugly rapper-looking things with Fruit Loops for teeth, posing as an AI artist, Ugh. Yeah, I mean, with the deep fakes, there's a deep fake of like just something with like Biden was doing an interview, and it was like cut. It looked like a weird, mask, like as if they imposed his head. It's just there's so much trickery and fakery going on. And so I think now I see a lot of people in comment section saying, "What is real anymore?" Like there's this woman, she rescued a dog. And she's like, it's okay. And the dog is like pawing at her, but she's driving. And people are like, oh, it's probably her dog and doing it for clicks and likes and pretending like she's, pretending like she rescued the dog. It's like, we don't even know anymore. People just fake stuff just for likes and attention. It's like, what is real anymore, right? And so the one thing we can guarantee is real is you and your own soul. Everything else in the external world is meaningless in that sense. You know it's real. It's right in here. It's in the core of you. And you'll never lose that. I don't care what AI is doing around you, you'll never lose that soul within. So, Okay, for Beth, and this is the last, but certainly not least, let me make sure there's nothing in PayPal too. Sometimes I just go too quickly. And then we'll call it a night. It's a nice quick night because we're all in pain here. We're all with these neck pains, right? We all got the neck pains tonight. Let me just make sure there's nothing PayPal. So, Beth, they're saying to take. It's just about romantic relationships or partnerships. Saying just take your time with them. Okay, to have patience with your relationships right now. They're saying. We do have more here. Okay, you got to take your time. Take your time in your relationships right now, love. And so. They're saying that, don't rush your relationships. If it's a romantic connection that's new or something, a relationship you're in, don't be rushing things with it. They're saying take your time, because you don't want to sabotage, because they're saying there's going to be some change and, change and breaking down in these relationships. That take your time. Like don't try to rush things in this relationship. Don't try to close it. Don't try to start it. Whatever the case is, take your time, be patient with it. Because there's some change going on with your relationships, generally speaking. Okay. Don't be impulsive. It's kind of what we were saying in the beginning. Don't be impulsive. I think then you'll find a better resolve on this. And don't let don't let the heartache and whatever pain that you're feeling from the situation make impulsive decisions either. Take your time, process it before you make a brash decision, they're saying. Okay? I do have more. Carla Taco. Will my mom's health improve during these next few months? Not particularly. I heard like 6-month battle. She's going to have to fight hard next 6 months. The question is my mom going to improve her health in the next few months? And so it feels like a 6 months battle in a sense, 6 month, whatever you call it, stint, whatever. Thank you, Beth. I appreciate that. Because I love the validations of return. That's the love in return I get, because I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Am I crazy? But I just trust spirit all the time. But Carla, not particularly. And I think that there's going to be a 6-month battle that I feel like there needs to be more done. It's not a quick, healing in that sense. It feels like a battle to me, and I don't want to just jump to conclusions now. I don't have you in front of me, so I'm just going to keep it simple because I'm blind to it. Especially you're not in front of me, and then she's not in front of me. So it just feels to me that she's battling something that's going to take about 6 months of recovery time. Okay, it's not going to be quick, and stop trying to rush that too. Maybe someone's trying to rush it. Don't be patient on this as well, as just like the last reading. Of course, in a one-on-one session, I can go into depth of what she needs and what she doesn't need and all that stuff, but that requires a full session of what she's lacking, what they need to do. So I for time's sake, I can't go that deep, but to answer your question specifically, it's going to take about 6 months of healing and with adequate amount of care. Allison Van Rayden. I'm an oracle reader and light worker. Shall I concentrate on my business or a romantic relationship? I have a lot of people attacking me for years with the work I do. Well, first of all, fuck those people that are attacking you. No one should attack you. So they can go fuck themselves if they're attacking you for anything. Screw them. They're saying both. You should be able to focus on both. Focus on your work and your business, and allow yourself to be open for relationships. You shouldn't have to pick. Your problem is you're trying to choose. Should I do this for other people? Should I do it all? They're saying right now. Some people need to pick and choose them one at a time. They're saying right now, be open to all of it. Whoever's again, when people attack you for something, that's a reflection of their small little pea brain. Right? Because guess what successful people do? They don't care what you're doing. Successful people who have happy lives, they don't care what you're doing. As a matter of fact, they just encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. That's what successful people do, and people who are confident and secure in themselves. That's how they treat you. People that attack you for doing what you're doing are very small-minded and have nothing going on in their own lives. There's no success going on there. Right? There's no happiness going on there. Happy people encourage happiness. Successful people encourage success. Failure people encourage failure. Right? Unhappy people encourage unhappiness. Think of it that way. So what? So what? Again, let me ask you this question here. What power do they have to block you in your work? What power? With one outlet, there's many other outlets, right? With one channel, there's many other channels. With one relationship, there's many other relationships around. And especially if you're relying on relationships and connections to get you forward and they're blocking that, well, then you could be independent. They don't rule life, okay? These people trying to block you don't rule the spirit world. They don't rule planet Earth. They don't rule your karma. They don't rule your business. So you can't allow anybody who's interfering, attacking, whatever the case is, to rule anything. Are you making them God of your, unless you're making them the God of your business and the God of your endeavors, then there should be no excuse for that. They don't rule anything. I don't care what they're trying to attack. They don't rule it. Okay? And so I've personally, coming from a perspective being attacked by the Christian religion, for those who don't know, went through conversion therapy and put through exorcisms and possessions, been there, done that. They don't rule my existence. They don't rule my belief structure. They don't rule my choices that I make simply because of a fucking religion. So I don't care who's trying to prevent your light working business. They don't rule planet Earth. They don't rule your business. They don't rule your soul purpose. They don't rule anything. And if they're so concerned about getting in the way of your business, that's because they're failing. Take that power, be very vampiristic and using that energy to your good. Oh, good, you're failing. You're so focused on my business. You got to take that energy and turn that around and harness that negative energy and turn it into more power for yourself. This is where we as light workers can feed off that energy and use it to empower ourselves. Instead of letting that negative energy sit on us. No, give it to me. Give me the opposition. Come on, fight me. Give me that energy. That's right. The more you take that, the more you're going to allow yourself to propel forward. It's energy. So again, do not give them the power and don't treat them as God of your endeavors just because they have opposition. Fuck that. Oppose me. I love opposition because if someone is focusing on me without opposition, they're powerless. I threaten their power. You are threatening their power. Guess who has the power play here? You do. You do. Because you are threatening them. Think about it that way. And as a light worker, harness that energy, channel that energy, redirect that energy, and use it for your good. Period. And don't even second guess yourself on it. Too many people, we got to stop giving these people this energy. Just because people oppose. I welcome it. Come on, oppose me. And guess what? I give them all the platform to oppose me. And guess what? They run out of energy. They're left with nothing. And they either block me or run away. And leave me alone. So we as light workers have to be warriors. Period. We can't be pussyfooting around and letting people's oppositions like, I don't know what to do. We got to be warriors at this stage of the game. We got to take a stand. But even Christ, when I always use this analogy, when Christ was bartering in the temple, he didn't say, please leave in love. He beat the fuck out of them to get out of the temple. He beat the crap out of them. And Mother Nature, when Mother Nature has a storm, it doesn't care what's in its way. Mother Nature's going to trample over whoever's in its way. Is Mother Nature saying, oh, excuse me, pardon me, I'm just going to detour this hurricane and this tornado. I'm going to work around you. Nope, you're not a hurricane. It's going to knock you down. So we got to stop feeling like as light workers, we have to be pussyfooting around people because it's positive energy. No, being firm in our energy is positive. And again, this is for everybody, right? Stay firm in our energy. And stay firm and strong. That's what we as light workers need to start developing in this. I got your back. And again, these people are nothing. You threaten them. You have the power. And just laugh at them. And then you let spirit help you carve out your path without, considering their opposition as reality or valid. And you let spirit carve out your path. Right now, you're making their opposition valid, and that's what's getting in the way. It's not valid for you. To me, I would say it's valid just because they're giving you power. That's how I take it. Oh, it's valid because they're empowering me. Thank you. Moving on, right? So, okay, Allison. Oh, he just read you, Allison. And again, that's me putting love into you. We need more of that toughness, right? We can't be divine feminine all the time. You got to be some divine masculine too. What is this? I'm super skeptical, and I'm those psychic medium healer person. I steer clear of labels, though. I felt it. Yeah. Well, fuck labels. What are labels? I mean, sometimes you have to identify. Like, don't be so afraid of labels. Sometimes you got to identify things. That's fine. But you don't want to be put in a box. And being labeled doesn't necessarily mean being put in a box either. Sometimes you just have to label something. Like, I'm Scott Cruz Psychic Medium. That's an identifier. But that doesn't say that doesn't put me in a box. That's all I do, right? So... Okay, Celeste. 3 months ago, my boyfriend of 5 years and I broke up, and it was hard, and there was a lot of betrayal. I feel like I'm going through a metamorphosis right now and want to regain my self-confidence and respect. An old crush reached out to me randomly. Odd timing. It's not odd timing. Old crushes always reach out when you're doing a metamorphosis. Listen to this in the room. Old crushes, past relationships always resurface when you're doing work on yourself because they can smell it. That's almost, I would say, textbook. So, and I was wondering if I should see where it goes and have some fun. Have fun, but it's not going anywhere, Celeste. Have fun with the rekindling. Find something that's familiar, but move on because that's old news. That dynamic is stale. Okay? Meaning that for your future. But have fun with it. Yes, have fun. Maybe take a little bit of something that's comfortable. And sometimes these old, rekindlings can be helpful too to bring us out of the metamorphosis in a sense, or bring you out of the old paradigm. And sometimes it's comforting. They can be like, oh, so intimacy is like, oh, I understand this is what I need again. It's familiar, so you'll go with it. So I feel like let it be helpful and fun in that way. So yes, but it's stale for the future, So again, this is textbook that an old flame comes with while you're doing the metamorphosis or change or recalibration. A lot of times it's to help you heal. A lot of times it's to help to bring that familiarity in your life to move forward. So and I feel that in this sense. So yeah. Okay. That was for Celeste. Now we have Cyrese Lee, which I think we were just talking to now. Since I read my reading a couple of weeks ago, I'm just not sure what I'm totally to focus on now. I'm beginning everything in my life right now. Career, love life, my spiritual gifts, yada, yada, yada. Knowing that all areas of my life need to rise to better serve me from here forward. You said my guys say that I'm right where I'm supposed to be and stop being hard on myself, but I feel I need direction. Thank you, focus. Okay. Well, I mean, pick a direction. I think, again, that's you being too hard on yourself, right? That I need direction. What do you mean need direction? Right? You said you're focusing. Let me reread I love you, but I'm going to reread what you said to me to understand how you're being hard on yourself. I'm in between everything in my life right now. Career, love life, my spiritual gifts. You're in between, okay? In between means there's direction. You're growing, you're evolving. Knowing that all areas need to rise to better serve me from here forward. To rise, better serve me. That's direction. Okay? You're expanding on these things, okay? You said my guide said I'm right where I'm supposed to be and to stop being hard on myself. If you're in the middle of something and there's direction moving forward, you're where you need to be to grow. See what I'm saying? So you're thinking that there's something specific that you need to do that's being too hard on yourself instead of realizing that things in your life are expanding, right? Your career life is expanding. Your love life is expanding. Your spiritual gifts are expanding. So there's a middle ground to such and an evolution to such that in order for you to experience that, you have to stop being hard on yourself so you understand how you're growing. So the problem is you're putting too much expectation on what you think you need to be doing, too much expectation on what you're supposed to be feeling right now, that you're missing the fact of the evolution and the growth. That's the problem. That's why we're saying that you're being too hard on yourself because you think you should be doing more instead of feeling more. A lot of you guys are in positions that you have to stop doing right now, feeling right now for a moment, and to really feel what's going on within you. Like I said in the collective reading at the beginning, when it comes to the emotional responses coming up, you all need to be feeling a lot more right now and stop doing for a moment. And then when you start allowing yourself to feel what's going on and put things in perspective, how you feel, then when you start doing again, things move forward in sync. You start doing things the way you want to be doing them. You start doing things in the context that match your soul. So yes, you're being too hard on yourself because you're like, I'm not doing anything. It's like you're learning, you're expanding, you're in the middle of things growing right now. So you have to be perceptive of that and objective of that and be very emotionally in tune to what you're feeling right now. You can't be observing of your feelings if you're just doing all the time. You won't know what you're fucking feeling if you're doing something all the time and blinding yourself. So life calls for a pause of doing so you can press play on the feeling. Okay? And so you have to sometimes understand when you're in between something. And when you're in between something, that means you've gotten away from something. If you're in between something, you're actually in the verge of gaining something. If you're in between something, there's something behind you that you left. Remember this. So if you're in between something, there's been movement from one thing and movement toward another. Remember this. Remember this. And it's okay if you stop around, you're looking at everything. That's okay. What is it telling you? What are you feeling in the process of looking around? Okay? Because we have to observe, guys. We have to observe. If you just keep going without observing, you'll end up at the end of a cliff and things will blow up in your face. You know what I mean? Allow yourself to observe for a goddamn moment and just like feel things out a little bit and be like, oh, okay, I came from here, but I'm going here. But what can I fix now? What do I need to heal right now? What do I need to hear right now? And sometimes we need the space to hear things from spirit. Sometimes we need the space to allow ourselves to see the things that what we're evolving from and so forth, to check in, to have more determination. We can't be blindly following our path all the time. So again, these are moments of checking in. These are moments of realization. These are moments of observation, of being objective. Be thankful that you have a moment to be objective, that you're not being pushed constantly forward and forward and forward without understanding what the hell you're wanting, what you're feeling. So in this case, I would be very, 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 very thankful for this moment and taking advantage of it in that sense. Yeah, the cheap facades. And when you have this moment, you can't be fooled by facades, Cyrus. When you take this moment just like to feel things out anymore, and you allow yourself to expand your intuition and to expand your perception, you won't be fooled by any facade. You'll gain not only just the spiritual awareness to it, but the intellectual realization of those types of facades. You're like, oh, been there, done that. Nope. So it's refining you right now. So yes, you're being too hard on yourself. Like, I need to be doing more. And they're saying you need to be feeling more. And actually, if you understand about being objective and looking around and feeling is actually doing something. It's like what we said before about being productive with I think it was Brenda. Wow, I remembered the name. With Brenda, we were saying about, she's like, well, I don't feel like I'm being productive. I say focusing on yourself and building yourself and healing yourself is the most productive you can ever get in life. Healing is the most productive thing you can do in your life, because when you heal, you stop the stuff that's getting in your life that's causing you from being held back and from depriving yourself, right? So being productive and healing yourself is very productive, right? So yes, stop being hard on yourself. Understand it's not all about physical things. It's not all about the to-do list. It's not all about, oh, but I need to get the career, I need to get the job. It's not all about that. Because if you get those things and you feel like shit, then what does that even mean? Then now I got all these things, now I feel like shit, now what? Right? Get yourself feeling good now. Think it out now. And rewatch the collective message too. I think it hits home for a lot of you guys right now with that. And let the emotions tell you what's going on and what you need to deprive yourself of. And this way you can see psychically how you actually have been evolving and growing. And you'll appreciate the things that are being handed to you in the moment. Because Spirit has a wonderful way, when you're on your path of growth and you're in the right realm, Spirit has a wonderful way of supporting you. Financially, too. And Nina, you say hit sorry, but Nina, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Right? Because things just came out, just Spirit guided you into a position. Right? So remember this. Remember that. Everybody in the room, because I'm speaking for everybody in the room, too, on that. All right. Daryl Blankenship, I haven't heard back from you, so it seems like you got sucked by the debates. So poo-poo on you. Not being loyal. He's got lost in the debates, or he probably just fell asleep somewhere, wherever the freak he is. Sydney, where's Daryl? Where did he go? And Erica too's been quiet. And so is Erica, and Erica's been quiet. But that was the last read, and I think there's been a lot. Okay, Daryl, so what's going on? You never filled me in with the debates. Have you been watching? How's it been? Give us a little synopsis of the debates. Are you missing anything? Debate's over? That's it? It's over? How was it? I tried to watch for like 5 minutes, and I'm embarrassed for them. Uh-oh. I mean, it's going to be a good shit show. Like, I want to do the rewatch, and I know it's going to be like a good shit show. It's going to be like comedy, in a sense. Biden was bumbling. Bumbling Biden? I just wanted a general synopsis, but I'm going to go take my break now. Yeah, Daryl, do you want to come on and give a live review real quick? Do you want to come on video? What do you think? Low energy, do you want to come on? Anyways, well, he's taking some time. Well, guys, I will be not doing live on the 4th unless you guys all email me and spam me and you want me to do live on the 4th, then I will. I didn't think so, Daryl. You don't have your makeup on. But if you guys want me to be live on the 4th, send me emails. At least put in the comments here. Go live on the 4th, like in the not in the chat, but in the actual comment of this video, because I won't be able to see the chat. So if you want me to go live on the 4th, then I'll put in the chat if you are. If not, I'll see you the following week. And I also will be on LOL on Monday, Leading Out Loud. Okay, so tune in on Monday. And we took off last week. We had an interview that we recorded months and months and months ago with Ruben. He was amazing. And so we'll be back live with just the 4 of us on Monday. So tune in there as well. And those of you watching and are new and want to book a one-on-one session with me, of course, the one-on-one sessions are more in depth and more specific. I'm tuning to you and not so quick and rushed. ScottCruzPM.com. The link is in the description. So book a session there. Life reading, mediumship, and intuition builder as well as different sessions in there. And but you got to go live on the 4th in the comments, not in the chat, in the comment box, like in the actual comments of the video, because otherwise I won't see it in the live chat. And I'll see what the consensus is. I'll do a little poll too, and if not, we'll just see you the following week. Okay. It's always good to see you guys every Thursday. Much love to you guys, and I always say the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, is that you are all the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? And again, I'm just going to put on the long outro so you guys can chat, and I will see you 2 weeks from now, and I'll see you Monday on LOL. Okay. Much love. Love you all. Have a wonderful night, you beautiful souls. Ciao. And ciao.
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You said like to summon your end table. This too.
My God, you're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that make
always
sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine, somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.